Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's just dive right in, because today we're unpacking a neighborhood drama that escalated so fast it literally ended up in a formal legal hearing. We are looking at a classic showdown, a homeowner versus a homeowners association. And the star of the show? A structure sitting right on a property line in the Pinetop Lakes community. Now, is it just a harmless landscaping feature, or is it an illegal, unapproved fence? Well, the answer to that question sparked a massive debate, and it really serves as a huge cautionary tale for anyone living under the somewhat ambiguous contracts of an HOA.
Listen to this. If you took my property and turned it upside down and shook it, this fence would be the first thing to hit the ground. That is a direct quote from our homeowner, Cyndie Shaffstall. And honestly, it instantly hooks us into the central debate of this entire explainer, which is permanence versus mobility. You see, this isn't just some squabble over aesthetics. It is a fundamental, legal, and philosophical argument over what actually makes a structure permanent.
Section 1. The Great Fence Dispute, HOA versus homeowner.
So, to really grasp how intense this whole thing got, we have to look at the setting. We're at a formal administrative law hearing. This was recorded on June 29, 2026, and it's overseen by Administrative Law Judge Nicole Robinson. We're not talking about a driveway bickering match here. We're talking sworn testimony, expert witnesses, cross-examinations, the whole shebang. And right at the center of it all are two completely competing realities of one single physical object. The homeowner, Cyndie, she defines her construction as a movable decorative plant backdrop. But the Pinetop Lakes HOA, they see an unapproved fence. It's literally one structure, but two radically different interpretations.
Section 2. The Rules of the HOA and Governing Documents.
Now, to understand how a judge looks at a case like this, we first have to look at the constraints of the hearing itself. Right out of the gate, Judge Robinson strictly narrowed the focus. See, Cyndie originally filed a petition claiming not only that her structure was misclassified, but also that the HOA violated open meeting laws and denied her due process by deciding her fate in a closed session. But because of how the petition was formally noticed by the Arizona Department of Real Estate, the judge actually had to dismiss those procedural complaints from this specific hearing, meaning the sole focus for today, just the physical structure itself. If Cyndie wanted to pursue those HOA procedure claims, she'd have to file a completely separate petition later on.
And that brings us to the actual rulebook. This right here brilliantly illustrates the specific legal loophole that our homeowner is relying on. The Pinetop Lakes rules clearly require architectural approval for almost everything: fences, sheds, decks, you name it. But there is one major exception. The rules explicitly exempt non-permanent landscaping. And you guys, this is the exact phrase that Cyndie's entire case hinges on.
Section 3. The homeowner's argument. Non-permanent landscaping.
So let's look at Cyndie's side. She is a self-proclaimed rule follower. She meticulously read the HOA guidelines before starting this project, and her evidence is entirely focused on mobility and intent. She lives on a corner lot right near a school bus stop, and she testified that careless drivers were constantly cutting the corner and just completely destroying her yard. So to fix this, she went out and bought cinder blocks and 8-foot wood 4x4s to create a visible border. But the absolutely crucial point she makes here is that these blocks are not mortared, glued, drilled, or wired to the ground in any way. She even submitted a photo showing her 84-year-old mother helping her disassemble a piece of it. Basically, she's trying to prove that this is just a harmless, movable backdrop for potted plants.
As Cyndie put it during the hearing, "I'm not a rule breaker. I wanted to put something of height on my corner so people didn't drive over." She firmly believes she followed all the rules by creating something that matched her home's aesthetic, without actually affixing it permanently to the earth.
Section 4. The HOA's cross-examination. Questioning permanence.
Well, as you might expect, the Homeowners Association sees things very differently. The HOA's attorney led a pretty aggressive cross-examination, really zeroing in on the physical reality of the structure. I mean, we're talking about an estimated 35 to 40 sections outlining her property and driveway. The HOA pointed out that with roughly 74 concrete cinder blocks, weighing 14 pounds each by the way, plus all the wooden beams, this so-called movable structure actually weighs well over 600 pounds. The HOA's main argument here? Sheer weight alone creates permanence.
During that cross-examination, the attorney asked Cyndie how long it would realistically take her to completely dismantle this massive 600-plus pound structure. Her answer? Exactly 2.5 hours, which, as you can imagine, became a highly contested timeline to say the least.
This actually led to a pretty entertaining exchange where the HOA attorney, August Shaw, fired back, saying, "I'm a big guy, pretty strong guy for an athlete in my day. I don't think that I could move 600 and some odd pounds of materials in 2 hours." It's one of those classic courtroom sparring moments over the literal physical effort required to just pick up and move these concrete blocks.
And then the HOA attorney drops the smoking gun question. He pulls up photos of the structure that were taken months after it was built, and he asks a very simple question. If this is supposed to be a movable decorative plant backdrop, why are there no plants on half of it?
Now, Cyndie's explanation for this is actually quite logical, though obviously the HOA still found it contentious. She testified that she had already spent $1,000 on plants, and they were literally just sitting in her garage. But once the HOA issued the violation notice demanding she halt construction, she intentionally stopped buying more plants for that driveway section. I mean, her logic was, why spend thousands more on flowers if the HOA is just going to force you to tear the whole structure down anyway?
Section 5. The Battle of Definitions. What is a fence? Here's where things get really interesting. Because the terms fence and decorative plant backdrop are not explicitly defined anywhere in the HOA's rulebook, this hearing essentially climaxed in a philosophical and linguistic battle over what words actually mean. The judge literally read the Cambridge Dictionary definition straight into the official record. A freestanding structure typically made of wood, metal, or wire that serves as a boundary or barrier to enclose an area, prevent passage, or provide privacy. And the HOA attorney brilliantly used this definition to corner the homeowner. He actually got her to admit on the stand that her structure is made of wood, it outlines her property, and yes, it is specifically designed to prevent cars from driving onto her landscaping.
To completely cement their case, the HOA brought in their general manager, Don Garsh, to act as an expert witness. Garsh testified that permanence isn't just about using mortar or glue. He pointed out that this structure clearly outlines a border. It didn't move a single inch during heavy winter wind and rainstorms, and realistically, it would take a person at least 8 hours to disassemble, not 2.5. So from the HOA's perspective, it acts like a fence, and it functions as a fence.
Section 6. The final verdict. Closing arguments.
In the dramatic closing arguments of the hearing, both sides had one last chance to leave the judge with their final interpretation of reality. And it brilliantly illustrates the ultimate clash of this case. The HOA argued for pure common sense. It's made of wood, it creates a boundary, and if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Ergo, it's a fence. The homeowner, on the other hand, stood her ground on the literal physical construction. It is not affixed to the earth, it doesn't use any mortar, and the rules specifically say non-permanent landscaping doesn't need approval. She says she simply built a pretty, non-permanent border.
Once those closing arguments finished, the strict legal timeline kicked right in. Judge Robinson adjourned the hearing so she could review all of the photographic evidence, the dictionary definitions, and the sworn testimony. And by law, she had exactly 20 days to issue a final, binding, written decision to both parties.
Which leaves us with this final question. If you were the judge reviewing this case right now, how would you rule? Is a 600-pound stack of unmortared cinder blocks and wood an unapproved fence that absolutely must be torn down? Or is it a brilliant, rule-abiding piece of non-permanent landscaping? Let us know what you think the verdict should be down in the comments. Thanks so much for exploring this with us today on The Explainer, and we will catch you on the next one.